So the US Federal Communications Commission wants to require ID verification for every phone activation in America, including prepaid phones. Those are what the phone journalists, abuse survivors, and whistleblowers depend on to stay anonymous. The excuse is robocalls. The result is a national identity check on one of the last semi-anonymous communication tools we have, which is our phone numbers. I mean, this is really insane. So before we actually get into it, I know what some of you guys are thinking. Don't you already have to give your ID to get a phone number? Well, from what I understand, and I know it depends on the state and the country, but from what I understand, you do have to hand over an ID if you want to go ahead and sign up for a phone plan. I don't know if you legally have to, or if your phone provider just wants you to do that. But from what I understand, let's say your mom or your dad signs up for a phone plan for the family. Your mom or your dad would have to give over an ID or do some sort of credit check to prove that they are who they are. But you, as their son or daughter or whatever, you don't have to hand over an ID. You could just be under their phone plan. But from what I understand with this whole thing, anyone who wants any phone number in the United States would have to provide an ID. That is absolutely insane. And like Reclaim the Net says, that was one of the last things that we could have some sort of anonymous communication on. But now the Federal Communications Commission is trying to end that. So on April 30th, they unanimously approved a proposal requiring telecom providers to verify customers' identities before activating service. Government issued ID, physical address, legal name, and existing phone numbers would all be included. The stated goal is stopping robocalls, so basically those scam calls you get from robots. Well, number one, I'm not some sort of expert on the situation or something, I'm pretty dumb, but aren't those mainly done by spoofing real phone numbers? So how would this at all combat that? The proposal applies to nearly every voice provider in the country, from traditional carriers and mobile operators to VoIP services. The FCC is seeking public comment on specifics, but the direction is clear. FCC Chairman Brendan Carr framed it around negligent carriers. Don't believe a word he says, by the way. This is definitely about mass surveillance. As we have continued to investigate the problem of illegal robocalls over the last year, it has become clear that some originating providers are not doing enough to vet their customers, allowing bad actors to infiltrate our US phone networks. Yeah, right. They just want to collect our IDs and sell our information. That's all this is about. Some providers, he added, do the quote bare minimum or worse and have become complicit in illegal robocalling schemes. Ah, yes. So basically, robocalling is a problem in the United States. So therefore, literally anybody who wants a phone number, hand over your ID, give us your address, legal name, everything. You know, we're just trying to protect everybody. This has nothing to do with us wanting to collect your information. Get out of here with this crap, man. So yeah, here's some more information about it as well. If fully adopted, the identity checks would apply to nearly every voice provider, ranging from traditional broadband carriers and mobile network operators to VoIP services. The Commission has approved core regulatory proposal, but is currently seeking public comment on the technical specifics of the rollout, leaving several operational questions open. Oh, public comment. You guys want a public comment? Okay, well, let's make our comment section the public comment that these guys are looking for. Let me know how you guys feel about the idea of them wanting our IDs to have a phone number in the United States. Doesn't matter if you have a prepaid phone number, doesn't matter if you're on your parents' family plan, doesn't matter. They want you to provide an ID regardless. Let me know how you guys feel about that in the comments. Oh my God, man. Anyways, the stringent verification framework heavily borrows from anti-money laundering regulations historically deployed with the commercial banking sector. As a part of its ongoing consultation, the FCC is asking whether providers should be required to retain copies of customer identity documentation for a minimum of 4 years after a user cancels their service. They would hold on to your ID, physical address, name, and all that other information for 4 years after you cancel your service. And they're trying to tell us that this is about robocalls? Are you guys freaking kidding me right now? What a corrupt organization and administration that we have going on in this country right now. It is absolutely insane. So basically, to combat robocalls, they need the information of anybody who wants a phone number in this country for 4 years. And that's a minimum, by the way. They might keep it for even longer. Furthermore, the Commission is seeking input on whether companies should cross-reference all incoming customers against federal and local law enforcement watch lists prior to granting network access. The Trump's plan demands legal name, physical address. Brendan Carr, the FCC chairman, has positioned the strict new rules as a necessary enforcement measure against negligent service providers rather than an expansion of domestic surveillance. And this is the same statement that we just read earlier. Carr further alleged that a subset of network operators actively facilitates telecommunications fraud through lax administrative oversight. Some providers, he noted, do the bare minimum or worse and have become complicit in illegal robocalling scams. The regulatory language explicitly targets corporate telecommunications companies, though privacy advocates warn that the practical consequences would ultimately fall upon the consumer base. I mean, yeah, of course it would. I mean, they literally just proposed the idea of keeping our information for a minimum of 4 years. Of course, we as the consumers are going to be the ones that suffer with this horrible plan. To enforce compliance, federal regulators have proposed shifting financial penalties to a per call metric. Under this punitive structure, telecommunications companies would face fines ranging from $1,000 to $15,000 for each individual illegal call placed by a poorly verified customer operating on their network. Who knows what they consider an illegal call? That also seems like some vague wording there as well. This would create a significant financial incentive for corporate entities to rigorously log and maintain customer data. Not only are they saying, hey, we want you guys to do this, but they're going to be finding the companies that don't, which will essentially force phone providers to collect our information. Otherwise, they're going to go bankrupt within the matter of months. Despite the official focus on corporate accountability, the most significant stakes center on the future of prepaid mobile services. I mean, this was the first thing I thought of because for the most part, from what I understand, you can just go to a store and get a prepaid phone and you don't have to provide an ID for that at all. Under current US regulations, consumers can purchase a prepaid handset and SIM card with cash, requiring no official identification, a provision that civil liberties groups argue is essential for vulnerable users. So like Reclaim the Net said in their tweet, phone journalists, abuse survivors, and whistleblowers. Closing off this avenue would fundamentally change how vulnerable demographics navigate the national communications network. Forcing customers to hand over personal details could remove a crucial shield for those who need it the most. Journalists routinely use off-the-grid mobiles to protect their contacts. Survivors of domestic abuse rely on the exact same anonymity to seek help without leaving a paper trail for their abusers to follow. It would also cut off a practical option for whistleblowers, activists, or anyone simply wanting a phone line that cannot be instantly tied back to their official identity. Here's a guy named Aaron Parnas that did a little video talking about this. Let's give this a watch.
Trump administration now wants your ID before you get a phone number. And what some experts are saying is an attempt at surveilling the general public. New reporting from Reclaim the Net highlights an April 30th proposal by the FCC, Donald Trump's FCC led by Brendan Carr. The proposal would require telecom providers to verify a customer's identity before activating a service. You would have to give your address, your name, your government ID, and potentially more. Now, the goal of the Trump administration says is to end robocalls. But many critics are saying, hold up, this is actually another attempt at surveillance, and it's another attempt at preventing individuals from saying, being a whistleblower, having an anonymous phone number, and much more. And it raises major privacy concerns for journalists as well, along with even domestic violence survivors who rely on prepaid phones, for example, for protection. It could also even require carriers to hold on to this data for years and potentially even check people's data against law enforcement watch lists.
Yeah, let me know what your guys' thoughts are on the situation in the comments. This is absolutely insane. Please leave a like in the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more. See ya.